Jack, over the course of the last week, man, we've seen some crazy stuff go on. The great stuff going on in Canada, these articles that we got for you, I think is going to be huge for your guys' morale because things are moving in the right direction legally, which we were hoping for. I wouldn't say we predicted specifically, but we were hoping that once these cases got in front of legitimate judges, that we would start getting some legal victories here and there. And it's looking like Alberta is the first huge win. This is an article coming out of August 1st. So that's about 7 days ago by Megan Grant in Calgary. This is CBC.ca. Albertans could see pandemic-related charges withdrawn after ruling on Public Health Act breach. Justice Barbara Romaine ruled politicians, not Dr. Dina Hinshaw, made decisions on health restrictions. Yeah, because she was basically a puppet. So Albertans charged with breaking pandemic-related laws could see their charges withdrawn after a Calgary judge ruled the Public Health Act was breached when politicians, instead of the Chief Medical Officer of Health, made final decisions on health restrictions. I've been saying the whole time that's exactly, they don't ever have that authority. And so it's great to see this judge agree. The group funding the legal defense of two people in one church have called on prosecutors to withdraw charges after Court of King's Bench Justice Barbara Romaine's 90-page decision was released Monday. The court action began in December 2020 when a group of plaintiffs, including two churches and a gym owner, filed a lawsuit arguing pandemic-related public health measures were contrary to Alberta's Bill of Rights and unlawfully breached Albertans' charter-protected rights. Romaine ultimately found former Chief Medical Officer of Health Dr. Dina Hinshaw made recommendations and ultimately implemented the restrictions, but it was Cabinet which wielded the final decision-making power. Alberta's Public Health Act does not allow for the CMOH to delegate her decision-making powers to politicians. Now, the Crown must decide what to do with a number of prosecutions that were paused or waiting Romaine's decision. I mean, the biggest part about this being in Alberta is that this includes Pastor Artur Pawlowski, right? Who
damn well should.
Yeah, everything that he faced was all because of what these politicians decided. And they did it this way because the politicians are the ones that were bribed to do it. And they hired Dina Hinshaw in Alberta, and it's every single chief public health officer in every province and territory was hired because they knew that they would be a yes man. But it's the politicians that were bribed to make the decisions. And then they further bribed the chief public health officers with insanely inflated salaries. Like Dr. Dina Hinshaw, I think made damn close to $500,000 in 1 year.
Something crazy like that. Yeah.
It was something crazy. It was north of 350,000. I think it was close to $500,000. So anyhow, that's how it was operating. And so this judge basically calls bullshit on how these things were implemented, which means every single case is against Alberta's Bill of Rights. So there's only more and more and more of this coming. Actually, I've been just in my private life telling my friends this, that we're actually just at the start of, I think, a landslide of legal battles that virtually everybody has a case against the government. Everybody who's been negatively affected, personally harmed, whether psychologically or physically, I mean, due to addictions and things like that, when they inflicted lockdowns on everybody, if the lockdowns can be shown to have caused physical or mental harm, and the lockdowns are declared unconstitutional, then the governments that forced the lockdowns, and we know that it was the governments, not the chief health officers, who always were super careful to say, these are my recommendations. And then the governments would mandate the things saying, oh, we're just listening to their recommendations. Well, unfortunately, you can't do that. Right? If they're unconstitutional, you can't do that. In fact, if they're unconstitutional, you should fire them for those being their recommendations.